Good afternoon. We're going to continue on with Eliphaz, remembering that the last time we talked, we mentioned, or I mentioned, the advantages of having somebody in your life that doesn't see you. It doesn't get your situation. And I think we talked about how that could provoke you to figure out what you believe, that it could surface stuff in your heart that needs to get perfected. It can also really help with the tendency that we have to put other people on pedestals when we think that they know God better than we do. And then here we are in a situation and they're applying their understanding of God, but it's not helping us. It can also help us learn how to harness the judgments that our soul makes. I wrote 150 pages, probably about a decade ago, on things that well-meaning Christians have said to me in my journey. And, it wasn't like they didn't like me. They thought they were helping. But I wrote it out of a place of anger, so it wasn't really something that would last over time. And I've known for a while that it's much easier for me to love the Lord than to love his people. And so I'm growing in that. And one of the ways that he has caused me to grow in that was by putting people in my life who did not understand what it was like to be in my shoes, what it was like to feel the feelings of my heart, what it was like to think the way that I think because of what I went through. So let's continue on with Eliphaz and see what else he has to say. It's interesting because this following passage is often used when people are talking about visions in the night, but it's not actually Job that has it, it's Eliphaz. Now, a word was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a whisper of it, and disquieting thoughts from the vision of the night. When deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones shake. Then a spirit passed before my face. The hair on my body stood up, it stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice saying, "Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a man be more pure than his Maker?" And sometimes what people are bringing to the table when they're interpreting what's going on in your life are the spiritual experiences that they've had that they know was God. To be fair, I've also known some people that had spiritual experiences that were not God, but they thought they were God. And that was the grid through which they interpreted everybody else and how they did in their life. Because a mortal can't be more righteous than God. That's absolutely true. And a man cannot be more pure than his Maker. It was a truth in the moment that it met the demand the earth pulled from it. But when you overlay this truth upon Job's situation, it accuses and implies that this is what Job was trying to do, and that is why what happened to Job happened to Job. And it's just not that simple. This is Eliphaz talking about the Lord. If he puts no trust in his servants, if he charges his angels with error, how much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before a moth? They are broken in pieces from morning till evening. They perish forever, with no one regarding. Does not their own excellence go away? They die, even without wisdom. So what I know about Eliphaz from gleaning how he's interpreting Job is that this was Eliphaz's understanding of how to process being in a futile place. And if I was exactly the same as Eliphaz and I had gone through the things that Eliphaz had gone through in his life, and I had responded the same way, his words might be life for me. They might offer me a way to process what is impossible to process. But I've never I've never met a person that's exactly like me, that's gone through what my path entailed. And I think for me to say that the things that have worked for me in my figuring out who God is, why things happen, explanations for some of the experiences I've had, for me to take what the Lord has given me as understanding and offer it to you and expect you to be able to duplicate it, the processing pathway, I think that's a little unrealistic. I do work with people and I do have tools, and some of those tools help. But they're going to help a different person differently because we're all made so individual. I bless you to consider the things that have helped you in your journey and how much of it was because it matched your essence, your design, how much of it was because it landed according to what you've experienced in your life. How much of it was the timing? The right truth at the right time can unlock things. And I bless you to know that as you are considering all the helps that have come your way, they came through God Himself. Whether you recognize it or not. Because He is Jehovah Rapha, He is healer. And sometimes if we step into gratitude for the ways that we have gotten things that have healed us, it helps us into the next step, which is to forgive those who did not get us. They don't belong on my hook. They don't belong on yours. When they stand before the Lord and they see the pain, the confusion, the problems that their words caused for us. They will be sad about that. But I don't know if they'll get that moment before they're with the Lord and home again. So I can let them off my hook today. And I can entrust the Creator of the heavens and the earth to sort out what needs to be sorted, to release what needs to be released, because He knows the heart and the intentions of the heart from whom those words came. And I bless you with that today. The joy of forgiving, the freedom of it. In Jesus' name.